Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Red Stalk, a channel that celebrates authenticity and fan culture. We have the Irish Enigma alongside me, Mr. Adam Gray. Chat to me about United, Adam. In fact, no, don't chat to me about United, because we were just discussing off camera, right? Just a topic of debate that I'm sure people in the chat can get involved with. What is the greatest FIFA song ever? So, yeah, we were chatting. There was a couple that we threw into the mix there. Any others that spring to mind?
Well, yeah, just so kind of people they didn't hear, it will probably be. I really love, that one. I need to know now,
No, I've done wrong. Left your heart dull. Is that what devils do? Classic, fucking classic.
They done a year. I forget what FIFA was on, but they had the best of the best songs.
Yeah,
it was only there a couple of years ago.
Like the ultimate now 50s fucking playlist of FIFA songs.
Yeah, no, that's what I call music on FIFA. They should have their own album actually for that.
They should.
I really like Kasabian Clubfoot was on. That's another early one I know.
Kasabian what? Sorry.
Clubfoot.
Clubfoot? No, I don't think. If we heard the song, probably. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Tell me what you want to do. Do you know what? When I hear these songs, it just sparks back memories of like fucking 2 in the morning with a monster can, just grinding out career mode or grinding out Ultimate Team and just going back. But we are going to discuss football in a minute. But I just thought that's an interesting topic. The greatest FIFA song ever. That's definitely a huge debate, I think.
I just see Sam's after saying 1 minute in and Adam's singing.
That's what he's here for. That's what he's here for. Defo Kasabian Clubfoot. That's Sean. Was it he's saying? I think Veronica's Untouched is definitely like an unsung kind of, ironically, an unsung hero in this thing, because them two together, first and foremost, were fit as fuck back in the day, from what I can at least remember. And then just the song was a banger. I don't think they ever did any other songs that I can remember. It was like, do you remember that song Tattoo? By is it the Lesbians who sang it? What was it? Oh my god! All the things you said. It was called. You must remember.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
All the things you said. All the things you said. And my voice went so light then. At the age of 29, my voice should not be doing that. But yeah, that's the song. You must remember that. The music videos in the rain and that, and it's like
There was another kind of band that popped into my head that time was Empire of the Sun. They had 1 or 2 songs that were
my god, Walking on a Dream is one of my favourite songs. I know that's like the most popular one, but my god, what a tune that is. Is it to heaven you come home? But you could put that in the mood, you could be in the worst mood ever, and you put that in the mood, and that's just like, let's fucking go, mate. You know, especially if it's like sunny outside as well, like it is at the
exactly.
minute. Yeah.
It's unreal weather.
Unreal. Can I just say as well, I know we probably should be having this discussion off camera, because it's something I'd ask just off camera and not whilst we're live on the show, but it's all right, people understand. My girlfriend started watching a show that's based in Sligo. Have you heard of this?
That isn't Ordinary People or
BBC,
something?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Just I don't know why it's popped into my head then, and I was like, Sligo. Yeah, I know Sligo. I wonder if you've seen it, but very.
I haven't actually watched it, no, but people have said it's actually relatively good.
It's all right. It's not too bad.
I know you, man. What's his name? The Irish actor in it, the fella in it. Oh, I'm trying to remember his name, but he's gotten quite popular. He's in the new Gladiator coming out as well now.
Is it?
Yeah, and he kind of got. In Ireland, you have the GAA, which is the Gaelic Athletic Association.
Yeah.
And it's all it covers Gaelic games like Gaelic football. And there's these specific shorts that a certain brand make. Okay. And he's made them shorts so popular that people are buying them around the world now.
The power of Barry Keoghan. No, it's not Barry Keoghan.
Not Barry Keoghan, it's the other fella, Paul Miskin or
You might be right there, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm not great with names, so I don't know. But yeah, that just popped into my head because I think she's finished it now. She like watched it all in one day. I was like, you're a fucking weirdo. But yeah, Sean's saying, sorry, let me just think it. United are big enough to have their own EA footy game, and the intro tune theme is the dog farting again. Defo has to be This Is the One by Stone Roses. I think the dog likes that. Yeah. We've mentioned Stone Roses, and the dog's on a mad one. He's loving it. Absolutely loving it. This is the most random start to a show I think we've ever had. But let's be honest, it takes away from the the mundane kind of stuff. We are going to discuss some news. We're going to talk about Mason Mount. We're going to talk about Rasmus Højlund back in training and the selection headache that Erik Ten Hag has got. We're going to talk about Samuel Lusale as well, officially signing the youngster, and then we'll talk about Old Trafford towards the end as well. So let's just kick it off with some football chat now that the dogs had his say, because that's the most important bit. Mason Mount and Rasmus, Adam, rejoined the group at Carrington. They've stepped up their fitness following both their hamstring injuries, I believe. Is there a debate now? You look at how Xerxes performing, I think he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
You look at Eriksson scoring the other day, he's been pretty decent as well. Is there a debate now where it's like, might be difficult for them to push back into the team?
You know, it's actually a good kind of problem to have, isn't it? Because particularly last year with the amount of injuries we had. Them two coming back, it throws a bit of a positive spanner in the mix for us, because in the early days of the season, he was going with Mason Mount, kind of mainly as a pressing role. So he's kind of reverted from that a little, and it seems that we're playing a bit better recently. So I think Mount might find it a wee bit challenging to come back. Xerxes has been playing really, really well. And again, Rasmus, you don't want to rush him back, but I think Rasmus might be the first choice. That's the only thing. So maybe it might take a while. He might have a few appearances here and there off the bench in the next maybe 2-3 games, but I can't see him coming back and starting.
Yeah. You look at like the fixture congestion as well. You can only imagine, like, you know, there's plenty of minutes, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of more injuries down the road. I look at someone like Rasmus, though. I am slightly worried about him, because you've seen these injuries a few times now, haven't you? You know, like, was that for a couple of weeks? And I think one thing that a striker needs is momentum in it. You need him to consistently, week in, week out, bagging goals. And once they are bagging goals, you keep him in that phase, and you string a few out of him. What are your expectations for him this season? Like, what should he? Yeah, what should he be notching? Because last season in all comps, I think it was like 16 goals, a couple of assists 16, or something. Yeah. So what should he be aiming for realistically, do you think?
Well, if he can keep the injuries aside, like there's no reason he can't improve. I think given the players that are around him, we actually have a right winger who creates chances these days now. So the wingers are looking a lot more creative, and that was one of our complaints last season, because for so long our wingers weren't creating for him. Nobody was creating for him. So we're creating those chances. I think if he can get back into the team and, like, you know, get a positive run going, I don't see why he shouldn't be aiming minimum like 20, aiming for 20.
Yeah.
All competitions. Like, it has to be a bit of improvement, because, well, to be fair, anything's an improvement from last season. So, but you want to see him kind of go on a run. I remember it was a good period of time he didn't score, and then I think it was at the Villa game he got the goal, and then it was like every game for a while he was scoring. So you want to see that. You don't want to see this kind of run again, like, you know, 7-8 games without a goal. But I don't think it'll be a case, because we look to be creating a lot more chances. And as much, I know we're in a bit of it's not the best start, it's not the worst, given what happened, I suppose, last year too. But we're seeing a bit of improvement now. I'm not going overboard because of the 7-0 win there. But like, there are positive signs, and given that we have more depth and players who maybe won't pick up as much injuries as the ones that we let go, I think it's positive signs forward, and I think positive signs for Rasmus as well.
I don't know about you, I just have this, I don't allow myself to trust in United when they start winning, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I have trust issues, so when they do something good, I'm like, oh, it's like, you know, it's almost like you can compare it to a relationship. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, she'll, you know, your ex will sleep with you for one night. You're like, oh, maybe she'll get back with me. And you're like, no, she's not going to get back with you. It's just a one night thing. You know, the FA Cup final, or the game against Liverpool, these kind of things. You're like, oh, it's back to square one again. She doesn't want me. She thinks I'm a piece of shit. It's basically United, the relationship that we've got. Because I think, like, now it's like, oh, you beat Barnsley 7-0, that's great, amazing. You scored 7 goals, fantastic. And then you beat Southampton 3-0 as well. But there is context to it. The start of that Southampton game, the penalty, if that would have gone in, you could have had a completely different situation. And Barnsley, when we played them as well, were fucking terrible. So I'm almost, I don't know if you agree, but I'm almost the same, where I'm like, I can't allow myself to think, oh, we're going to turn a corner, or we're going to start going on a run. Because I know United can just disappoint at any moment.
They can. It's one of those, it's like when everything's going really well, you're like, okay, what's the catch? Where is it's almost like they hit you back to reality. They do with something
right
pops
back
up.
down with a bad result as well. Because you're in the
Exactly.
moment, innit? You're like, oh my god, we're winning. We scored we scored 10 goals. Is it? We won 7-0. Yeah, 10 goals in the past 2 games. If we went and won 4 or 5 games in a row now, that would be like everyone would be shocked, wouldn't they? Like, even though it's United, you'd be if you get clean sheets in that as well. Everyone would be like, "What the fuck is going on? This does not feel right at all."
No, it doesn't. And you're like, okay, where is it going to come? And then it'll be like Anfield away or something, and then it's like humble, and then it is.
Yeah.
That just it feels like when everything's going right, it's great, but then something will go against them, and then everything goes wrong, and it just goes straight downhill. It does. It happened, last season. People seem to forget, but we got a lot of bad decisions against us at the start of the season, and I don't think they helped, because when you feel like the whole system's nearly against you, it just continues to go down. Like I remember the handball was this in the Spurs game, the Garnacho goal at Arsenal.
The Spurs
Those
game?
are just. You remember the Spurs game? I think Madison scored that day. Yeah,
I remember it. Yeah, I do.
And we would have been winning that game. So it's like these are the sort of little things that when they go against us, we seem to almost take it personally, and we just go downhill from there.
Yeah,
and it can quickly happen in football. Football, things can change in 2 weeks. The situation could be different. We could be right up in the league then again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But people kind of get carried away, I know, with good results. And even with bad results, people get carried away, particularly the media when it comes to Manchester United.
Yeah, don't we know it too well. It does feel like there's a lot more positivity around now, though, doesn't it, at the minute? It does feel like, Ineos come in, done the thing that they done. Like you said, rightfully so, a sticky start to the season where you're like, Brighton, missing chances, just scrape past against Fulham. You lose to Slot in his first 3 games. He's never, ever going to help.
No.
But I do feel now, you look at the options that we've got in the squad depth, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit better, because you look at the bench against Barnsley, we had Xerxes, Ahmad, like a really good Casemiro. We had loads on there. Yeah, really good. So that's nice, I suppose. But just bringing it back to the striker dynamic, the reason why I ask about Højlund is because I think, again, correct me if you think I'm wrong, I think Xerxes is more beneficial to the system than Højlund is, if that makes sense. Yeah. So obviously Xerxes is one who's dropping in, and I think you'll get the best out of Rashford and Garnacho and these kind of players. Whereas, like you said as well, when Højlund's in that system, it's more he needs to be provided for. So do you think it'll just be a case of, maybe, different setups, tactical setups, whoever it is we're playing a low block, you play a Xerxes. If you're playing the Liverpool or City, you're going to play high line. Those channel runners get Højlund in. Or maybe they can play with both, with Højlund and Xerxes.
There would be a time where I'd love to actually see the two of them play, because I think they might complement each other quite well. So. And it's a thing where the two striker kind of dynamic is completely gone these days. You never really see it. You probably see it under someone like Sean Dyche. Probably that's it.
Yeah, I was trying to think who plays. I know like Arsenal defend in like a 4-4-2. If you watch them, they sit really deep and compact, but no one really plays in a 4-4. A lot of them like 3 centre backs, 1 midfielder, and then 5 attackers or 6 attackers they usually have.
It's sad to see, because it was really, really, like, you had really good partnerships up front. People used to say, it was proper football, but it seems like this whole kind of, pep thing is coming, and everyone wants to kind of play. They have to play like that to counter that. There's no way around it. Till somebody comes up with another style that kind of takes off. I think it's going to be here.
For one season, they just fucking scrap VAR, they go back to 4-4-2 and just have it out for a full season and just see what fucking happens. That's what I want. I mean, that'd be great.
You get proper football. Football.
Yeah, absolutely.
But depending on the setup, I think choosing who you're, I suppose, out of the two, whoever you're up against, like Liverpool, I think you're best getting someone like Højlund there rather than someone dropping deep like Xerxes. Because he kind of, as you pointed out as well, brings the best out of the wingers. And with Xerxes, I know it might seem harsh, but I'd probably play Rashford and Garnacho either side of him, because I think they're the better channel runners as well.
Yeah. What have you made of Xerxes so far? What would your assessment of him be? So
far, I'd probably give like a 7. I can see what he brings to the team as well. Yeah. And like he's raw right now. He hasn't I suppose he has to get used to the players around him. But like for what he brings and like what I've seen so far, it looks good. I know he was unlucky with what game was it when he got the goal ruled out?
Oh, it was
Brighton, wasn't it?
Brighton, was it?
Yeah, I think it was Brighton.
Yeah. Because Garnacho scored. It tapped off Xerxes, and then they went and scored 2 or whatever it was. Or no, one at the end of the game. João Pedro won it. And you're like, oh, fucking hell.
And you're just sick, and that's just again luck. At the end of the day, it is. But from what I've seen so far, I like him. He almost got a goal at Southampton as well. You know, when he kind of got in between the two defenders, and it was unlucky Ramsdale kind of made the stop. But I think having him as an option is going to be great, because even so, like, I know he likes to play through the middle. If you wanted to, you could push him out to the wing, I think.
And we have other options, of course, as well. Some of the players we hadn't even played. I'm talking like when you go to the back line, someone like Lenny Yoro, who got injured in pre-season. He's back in a couple of weeks. Who, you know, a lot of people probably forgot about. And you look at the way the calendar season's going with the amount of fixtures, the new Europa League and Champions League format, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League. I mean, I'm sure I read somewhere that the week at some points are going to be 3 games a week. So you're going to have exactly. So you're going to have a Carabao, Europa League, and a Sunday game in the same week at certain points, which is just fucking crazy. So that's why I keep pushing this kind of depth as a topic, because it's so important, as we know anyway from last season, because the amount of injuries we picked up was just, you know, a joke. But just on Lenny Yoro, again, we only had a small sample size, but he's another one who you're like, I'm really eager to see him.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited. From what I've seen over the pre-season, like, I know it was only, what was it, a game and a half?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. It is mad, and it's just typical. I was thinking, oh, here we go. We're cursed at this point with injuries. But from looking back, I suppose highlights and kind of good moments from last season, I can see why we've gone for him. Like, Madrid were in for him. They wanted him. They were kind of pushing for him to, don't sign a deal, come to us at the end of the next season. And more often than not, they do that. A lot of people do. We've seen it with Mbappe. For that saga was going on for years. But I think it's a good headache to have as well. Having people were questioning, why did we get Lenny Yoro and De Ligt? But we needed to. There's no like other explanation. And it seems like Ten Hag has kind of learned a bit, and he's taking his centre halves off a good bit now towards the end, which I think is the right thing to do, because I think that was our probably worst point of our injury crisis. It was in defence. It was because there was no stable backline.
I remember the back line against Palace, and I'm pretty sure it was Wan-Bissaka at left back, Casemiro at centre back, Johnny Evans alongside Casemiro, and then Dallo, I think maybe. It would have been at one of its worst points. And you're looking at that, you're like, 35-year-old Johnny Evans, with all due respect. Casemiro obviously had a stinker. You see that ref cam footage?
I was going to say that. It was like a Ted Lasso challenge.
It's so bad. It's so bad. He's miles off it. But yeah, with Casemiro as well. I mean, this is going left, right, and centre, but it just sparked a memory. With Casemiro, he's much better up the pitch when he's being creative, and there's no risk in him losing it really, because you're not on the edge of your box like you are against Liverpool. So actually, when the announcement of Ugarte got made, I was like, I could see them two working together, because Ugarte could just put out fires, sweep up, clean up, and Casemiro can push on and create and do what he does best. So I think that's helped him out a lot. Selection-wise, I hope, I'm praying to God, Adam, we don't have any more fucking bad injuries, and we can just crack on from here now. Because I actually think with depth, you can be competitive, and you can probably push up towards top 4. So
yeah, easily. I think we can push up and challenge for it. That was our issue last season. We didn't really have that depth, and when we had that injury crisis, there was nobody there. We were playing players out of position. We were bringing young fellas in. It just isn't sustainable yet. The media push and push and push. Why are we performing so bad? Well, that's why we're playing people out of position. We're playing people who haven't really played much football as well.
Yeah.
So
look at the
what
difference
do you expect?
look at the difference between Wan-Bissaka and Mazraoui straight off the bat. Mazraoui has been unbelievable since he's come in. Like, how comfortable he is in every position, can invert, overlap, take it under pressure, 3 players on him. Like, he always finds solutions in each thing. And when Wan-Bissaka got it, as you know, and I think you've said it yourself, fucking deer in headlights, isn't it?
It is like a deer in headlights, especially going forward. Now, with defending, it might be a different issue, because we know what his strength was, and he wasn't sort of the manager's style of player. But having that player every now and then wouldn't have been, a bad problem, but it's night and day, as you said. We've actually made money from selling Wan-Bissaka and buying Mazraoui, and it's an upgrade. It's a massive upgrade.
Yeah.
So I can't remember us doing that in a long time, selling the player, upgrading that in the position and saving money.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. At the time, a lot of people were like, not sure. I don't mind Wan-Bissaka. It's not what do we call? It's not a priority position that we need to sort out, and blah blah blah. Same price, sold Wan-Bissaka 15 with 1 year left on his deal. Bring in Majari, who's I think 26 on a 5-year deal. You don't have to spend any money on that position now, really, because you've got Dalot and you've got Majari, so you're absolutely sweet and you're fine in that sense. I'm going to expand the conversation into. I'm going to stick with recruitment, but a couple of youngsters I want to talk about. So Samuel Lusale officially signed his contract today at Manchester United. Now I'm not going to ask for a full scout analysis because who's watched him. Let's be completely transparent. But you look at these signings that we're making and Ineos are making. Adam Kone from Marley. You've got Chido Obi Martin from Arsenal, and then Lusale coming in as well. These are the kind of signings that we've been speaking about, career mode, when you send scouts out to like fucking Brazil or whatever. It's nice to have these kind of signings in it and interesting at the same time.
It is, because you never actually really heard of them, especially under when Ed Woodward was around and John Murtho. You never really heard of these sort of players being signed, but now there seems to be a push to get the best, I suppose, academy players and bring them over to United. And the players as well, they know that they're signing for us because they know they'll get a chance. And it seems like every year now, Ten Hag seems to be getting somebody who's the next kind of youngster coming in. And you've had, I suppose, but to count Garnacho, I suppose, in the first season.
Well, we bought him for 10 million, I think, Garnacho from Atletico Madrid, and brought him in. And, really, really young, like I think it was like age of 15, 16, and then he obviously started making statements. And him and Kobe have been. I don't think every player is going to come through like that, because then you're like, I mean, you really have got a talent belt there, haven't you? But if they can get close to that, then
just get a decent percentage. And even like the players who perhaps they're not for Manchester United, you sell them and you can make money. And you see the likes of Man City doing it, and you're like, these players haven't even had much of. They haven't had much appearances, much of a chance.
They get 25 mil and 30 mil for these kind of players. You're like, what on earth is going on here?
And I'm like, I don't know if that's like changing their books and that as well. Like that could be a case. Okay, we'll give you this player. Here's hush hush money. As well.
Well, they sold Delap to Ipswich for 20 mil. They sold James Trafford, I think, to Burnley for 20 mil. They're just stacking up these fucking. And we're selling Palistri, who's got minutes in like Champions League and stuff, for 6 million quid.
Yeah, and for Uruguay, in World Cup and everything, and all this, and 6 million. I don't know how it's done. I don't know if it's because of the high wages that we give, but I think that's sort of changing nowadays. I think the players that they're going to bring in, if they're not the right fit, we sell them, and I think we can make a bit of money.
Speaking specifically, just kind of the last question on youngsters and progression and stuff. This season, who do you see pushing? It might be a bit of an obvious answer, but who do you see pushing into the team? Have you liked someone like a Collier, for example? I haven't seen much of Amas, did we? Probably expected him to start against Barnsley.
Yeah, a lot of people have been calling for Harry Amas, but I suppose the thing is with him, from people who I've talked to who have watched him in the academy, to say he's not fully ready yet. He's a talent, but he's just not fully ready yet.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll see much of him this season. He could be even next season project, the Mass next season.
Yeah.
But definitely Collier, I can see, getting a good few minutes, even in the Premier League now coming up. We're going to have to rely on depth as well. I think we'll get hit with a few injuries. And he seems to be able to play a few different positions. Now, he was a little, rusty at kind of left back there.
It was weird selection, that, wasn't it? Was you scratching your head as well when you saw the team lineup?
I was trying to think who's playing fullback.
Fucking bizarre.
I don't know.
I mean, he did all right. It's Barnes, in it. Like, I don't think you're not coming up against Mohamed Salah or Saka or anything. So it's
he gave away a few free kicks here and there, but it's not his natural position as well.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's a good thing. I can't remember who said it. Could have been Ten Hag, but it was like, best thing about these young players is you can mold them nearly into any position if they're good enough.
Yeah.
And Ten Hag in particular, at Ajax, he used to have players who can play multiple positions.
Yes.
So it's a good thing to have.
Yeah, and the players that he's brought in, equally, I think
Exactly.
Leacher can do a job at left back, as we've seen before, play at centre back. I'm pretty sure he could play defensive midfield if he was absolutely desperate. But Majrari can do multiple roles as well. I think Ahmad could play multiple, like across the front line. You know, Rashford played as a striker before, so you need it in the modern game, I think. And I think that's the difference from like Slot coming in at Liverpool. He's had, you know, grass-fed Klopp players who is similar philosophy. I know Slot's maybe a little bit more patient in his approach and not as gung-ho as Jurgen Klopp was, but he's coming into where the players are already, you know, used to the system and already kind of know what they want in terms of pressing intensity and stuff. So yeah, I think they've had like 9 or 10 years for these youngsters to come through and play that style, so they're used to it. Now we're just at the start of that kind of trajectory. So the first couple of years, bringing these youngsters in, getting used to it, and then it's going to be a continuous thing, hopefully, for the next couple of years. Just the last topic I wanted to touch on, Old Trafford, Adam. A lot of news kind of lingering about that at the minute in terms of new stadium plans and the task force with Gary Neville, etc., etc. I mean, Sam and Chivi did a show last night, so if any of you guys missed that, please do go check it out and let us know your thoughts and feelings. But yeah, I just thought it was an interesting topic point of what, obviously you've been to Old Trafford yourself, you've seen the magic, you know, you've been a few times, you've been around the area and stuff. What would you take into this, or what would you like to see just from a fan perspective in a new stadium? Like, it could be absolutely anything.
One thing I do like particularly about, you know, Old Trafford, and that you're close to the pitch when you're at the stands as well. Yeah. It also builds a bit of intensity as well, for away players, and I suppose the support as well, to the players on the pitch. So I wouldn't want to see, like, you know, this big gap, massive gap between the actual stands and the pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough, give it a bit of distance, but don't like make it ridiculous. You don't want to see, like, I know they won't do it, but like, you know, a running track around.
Yeah.
One of
like,
the big complaints
West Ham.
Yeah, something like that. Like, that's the biggest complaint I know their fans have. You'd want to see something, I think, that could rival Madrid. I know Madrid, and the Bernabeu, like the job they've done on that. And it's sad in a way. Like, they have this, I know, their training facility, and they played there for a season or two, season and a half. How we never had something like that, something small scale, but
I think it's like the match day revenue that comes into it as well, you know, because I think we make like £4 million per match day. So even if, it's mad, in it, but like if you half that, you're losing a lot of money per game. So I think that'll obviously weigh heavily, won't it, on the decision.
Yeah, but they have all, like, you've seen, I've been around, you've been around, they have that car park space. I don't know if it's a case they can, you know, build a stadium there.
That's where it's going.
That's where it's going. Okay, they've kind of agreed there. Okay. So
you know, when you go around to the East Stand and you've got like the ticket thing, it's that area there. That's where the new stadium's. So, and Sam's just put some news in there. So they're doing that, and United are ready to abandon plans to keep Old Trafford if they build a new stadium. They now realise that scaling down Old Trafford to a capacity around 30,000 to host academy games is what they want to do. So they're going to keep Old Trafford there, but then scale it down.
I like that. I like that idea. Just maintain the bit of history, keep maybe the museum part of it as well.
Yeah, like unit clock, the ground is Trinity statue as well. Yeah,
exactly. So keep your kind of history, acknowledge it. Obviously, in football, everything's about the present, I suppose, investing in the future. But you have to look back at your past as well, like everything that we've been through. And that's one thing, particularly my first time going there. You can feel the magic of it as well. It's almost like being a kid.
You can't explain it, can you? It's a weird thing. Like I remember Rashford doing an interview, and he was saying Old Trafford has like its own sound. It's weird, like the roar when we score, or when there's the clack of the seats when everyone stands up.
Yeah,
there's something about it. You just can't explain it unless you've been. I don't know what it is. It's weird.
And I think the moment that it hit for me, particularly, was that City game. I went to the Manchester derby, you know, when we beat them. I think Grealish scored a header, 2-1. Yeah,
Rashford.
And of course, Rashford got the winner. Of course, I had to be Grealish to score right in front of me as well.
Yeah.
But of course, but when that Rashford goal went in, I don't think I've ever heard a stadium roar as loud. Like, I've been to concerts in different venues, Wembley, all here, football games, but I never heard a roar as loud as that. It's something else. It's like going to church nearly, that feeling. I'm not a religious person, but one of the closest religious
Well, it is a church. Old Trafford is a church, isn't it? In that sense, it's our religion, for sure. I always reference the Liverpool game that Ahmad, that me and Kayla, and we was in the family stand, right? And I'm telling you now, there was mothers with kids, fucking feral, going absolutely wild. They could not believe that because what happened in that game was we went down, brought it back, went down, brought it back. You're like, fucking hell. Anthony scores on his right foot. You're like, what on earth is going on here? Extra time, Harvey Elliott scores. You're like, fuck's sake. Rashford scores. Wow, he's back in form. Let's go. And then Ahmad, the fucking red card at the end, everything, the stadium, that is the loudest atmosphere I've ever heard in my life. It was insane. And I still watch the videos now every now and then. I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow. Because it's something you remember for the rest of your life, isn't it?
Oh, you will. And then that scene of Ahmed walking down the tunnel.
Yeah.
Almost like, walking out of the Coliseum after winning a fight.
I remember reading the chat and WhatsApp at the time with the lads. Obviously, you're in the chat as well. And Aaron put, imagine if Ahmad scores now, Nick's going to take his pants off. And that's his thing. And literally 10 minutes later, he scores. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the perfect scenario. I just wish I was in Stretford then for it because it was going off in there. But yeah, that's what we live for. But Sam's just put, no, they've abandoned plans to do that. That's the story. Oh, so they was going to do the 30k and scale it down, but they're not going to do that now. So are they keeping Old Trafford, or are they just completely getting rid of Old Trafford? Because that's obviously a talking point in itself, isn't it?
Also just on the new stadium, I just kind of remembered Old Trafford is kind of up at a bit of a slant. It is. And then it goes down.
The pitch.
So the pitch, So I wonder, will they kind of try and keep it more flat now? Will they?
Well, it's but then we won't have Di Maria to fucking push into
I was going to reference that.
Yeah, because we don't get that anymore. So I just keep it just for that in case we get a bit of a shit house who's disrespected the club before. I'm sure Alexis Sanchez is still playing, isn't he? So we can maybe muller him at one point. No, demolishing it according to the story. Oh, so demolish it completely. Interesting. But then I'm sure they wouldn't get rid of like the iconic and historic things that are there, like the statues and stuff, like the Jimmy Murphy statue, Trinity statue. Obviously,
they'd probably try and move them. Well,
it's in the same area, isn't it? So
yeah,
I don't know, what would you put there if Old Trafford gets knocked down? Like what's going to go there? That's the question.
I don't know why they don't just put I thought it was a good idea, scale it down.
I thought that was good.
The women's team as well should be doing that.
Oh, right. Interesting. Yeah.
Because you see Man City, they have that smaller kind of stadium. Well,
they've got like a whole campus around, like a bridge to the academy and then like loads of other things around it.
We should have something like that. We should be looking at that. And I know initially they were looking at something like that as well.
Yeah. Interesting.
The new mega store, that's where it'll be.
Yeah, it'll just be a giant mega store with restaurants in and fucking merchandise. That actually wouldn't surprise me because what they're trying to do around that area, around like Wharfside and Salford Quays and stuff, they're trying to make it all kind of linked together. So you spend a day there rather than, because anyone who goes to Old Trafford, especially in the local area, they get there at kick-off and they fuck off at the 89th minute because the traffic and how busy it is. So it's just a fucking nightmare. So what they want to do is make people stay there for the full day, spend fucking loads of money. That's more money in their pocket, class as revenue that's incoming. That's the plan, at least. But, I mean, we're a long way off that anyway. It's going to take like 6 years just to build the stadium.
Easily.
So, yeah. Right, I'm going to go through a few comments. Arez Khalil says, hey guys, new here. What's up? Welcome to the channel. Sean saying, am I the only one who thinks Garnacho plays better off the right? Thoughts on that? Adam?
You see, this season, I think he's been playing really, really well off the left when he has had a chance. He got 4 goal contributions the last night, wasn't it?
Against Barnsley, you went about Tuesday.
Against Barnsley, he got 2 goals, 2 assists, I think it was.
I don't know if he got 2 assists. I know he got. Yeah, you might be right. I don't know. I mean, my brain's not working today, so I'll trust your judgment rather than mine.
I think it was that, but over the last couple of games, like, he's popping up with numbers, and this is one of the biggest complaints that we didn't have. Our players weren't scoring enough. They weren't, I suppose, assisted enough. We weren't scoring enough goals, and he's popping up with all these high numbers now. It's, again, a good, I suppose, complaint to have that you have these sort of players to compete. But, like, the way Ahmed has been playing, if you look at the stats as well, I think he's created more. You have to start him.
He's the top performer in terms of metrics, all the important metrics that you want.
Exactly.
Right up there. Yeah, he's been really good, hasn't he, Ahmad? Like I've always been, I've always pushed the player himself. I watched him at Sunderland under Tony Mowbray. I watched him when he went to Rangers, even his early days at Atalanta. Like I watched academy videos there. I thought it'd be good, but now you've seen it come to fruition at the level that he's at. I'm like, okay, interesting, because he's only 21. So
and people forget about that as well. Like I know he's been around a little bit of time. He has, but like players develop at different stages. Like they might hit more of their, I suppose they're ready for the team at 21.
At like 24, didn't he, or something? 25.
Yeah. So like time is on his side as well.
Yeah.
And having him in the team, he was definitely ready this season. This was his season to kind of kick on, and the fruits of his labour has paid off. He's gone out on loan. I know it wasn't the best time at Rangers and that, but when he went to Sunderland, he was there. Was he Player of the Year for them?
Yeah. Fans Player of the Year, I think it was. He got like 14 goals and 7 assists or something, I think.
Exactly. And some of them were absolute screamers.
Oh, bangers, cutting in. Yeah, the one against Luton as well. I think in the playoffs he scored like a free kick.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. And it's like Andy says in the chat there. I think so. Ahmad just looks more fluid. He does. I think Ten Hag's realising that now. I think it's taken a while, didn't it, for him last season to like. He'd play Forson, he'd play Palistri, he played Anthony, and everyone's pulling the fucking air out and like, how's this kid not starting, man? And then as soon as he started getting some cameos, you're like, he has to play. He just has to play. If Ten Hag starts Anthony at the weekend, I mean, I'm done.
And one thing I like about him, he's pure direct. He'll take on the man. A lot of the time we were seeing the likes of Anthony, he'll be cutting back on the left. He will be passing it back to to Dallo or Casemiro in midfield. He wouldn't take it to the byline, whilst Ahmad easily will, and he'll beat a man with skill. I haven't seen Anthony really. I can't remember the last time Anthony beat a man with skill.
No.
And skill is meant to be his thing.
Yeah. Those highlights from the Eredivisie sold us a dream, didn't it? When we watched it with Anthony, we was like, oh my god! I remember just the one specific one where he skinned like 4 players, and I was like, okay, I'm all for this player. Go spend the money if you need to be. And then 3 years later, whatever it's been, you're like, okay, probably one of our worst signings in our history. Sean saying, imagine the depth we'll have after January next summer. Not to write off this season, but next season could really be 2 steps forward for us finally. Yeah, I think it's exciting, man. We just spoke about some of them then. Ahmad's 21. Garnacho's 19. Rasmus is 21. Xerxes 23. You've got Mainu 19. Ugarte 23. Yoro's 18. Delit 24. Dallo's 21. You go through the age profile now, they're really bringing that down, I think. Getting rid of, obviously, Varane, Martial moved on, a few others as well. I'm sure Eriksen will probably move on in the season. It's proper like a regeneration, that, isn't it, of the squad?
Yeah, it is. Like you're clearing, I suppose, what people would call, I know it's harsh, dead wood at times.
It does sound quite harsh. I bet when a player reads a headline like that, they're like, fucking dead wood, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because there was a story, I think, in Phil Jones, somebody said, oh, shame about your career. And he took it personally, he did.
Bless him. Good old Phil.
Yeah.
What a lad.
And did you see those things that they have now for, it's meant to increase, I think, players coming back?
Yeah, the 25%.
25%.
That cryo chamber kind of thing.
The cryo chamber, geez. Phil Jones would have been in there 24/7.
I said put Luke Shaw, just leave Luke Shaw in there for whenever he has a game, take him out of the game. Luke, straight in the cryo chamber. He's like, boss, I'm not even eating. I don't care. Straight in the cryo chamber. Come out when you feel a little bit better. But like small margins, that's what Dave Brailsford talks about, isn't it?
Exactly. It's the small margins and they all add up over the course of a year. So I'm glad that I suppose, are looking into the science of it as well. Because I genuinely don't think we have much of a sports science division, have we? And I'm sure they're recruiting people like this. You don't really hear much of it though. So I think it's all positives going forward. I know, like this season, I think if you could, maybe win the Europa League, finish top 4, just try and get a Champions League spot for next season, I think is a good season.
Going to be important for revenue as well, of course, and the next summer transfer window, which feels a way off now. Just before we go, I'll read that script. There's no way Dallo's 21. No, he's not. I don't know why I said Dallo's 21. He's 20. He is 24, 25. I was just getting caught up in like the thingies, but yeah. Obviously, we're going to do the preview tonight, but I'll also got you now, Adam, for the Crystal Palace game. Thoughts, feelings, anything you want to say about the game?
Worried about Eze.
Yeah, he looks informing it in a minute.
Yeah, he's looking all right. He is. Nketiah got a goal there, I think, during the week, didn't he, in the cup?
Yes, I think so.
So, and that was his debut. So there's a few players there who have hurt us in the past, but the only motivation I try and give them is, do you remember the embarrassing away result last season? Just
and
do
for the away fans,
perform.
importantly, in it, like make sure you give them a fucking performance, because they've travelled down to London to watch that, and they were still singing at the end of the game.
Exactly. That was, I think that kind of was the epitome of last season. That was the worst performance I can remember.
Definitely.
So you don't want to see anything like that again. You just want to get the first goal. I think is important, because look what happened at Southampton. Easily we could have got conceded, gone behind. It's a different game. I think the most important bit is the first goal, because if we concede first, I can't see us trying to go on and win. I don't really feel confident if we concede. Even when we go level, then it's just we very rarely come back from a losing position.
So what's your heart telling you now? Are you feeling like could be a draw? Do you think we could slip up like a banana skin there? What are you saying?
It's weird. I'm feeling a wee bit more confident, particularly with the front three. I'd like to see they're in form they are, so I think we can score. We'll create chances. We will. It's just about who is he going to start in defence. Can you see, like, someone like Harry Maguire? Then it has to be De Ligt and
De Ligt and Leach. I think are the partnership going forward now, and if both of them can stay fit, that's why we discussed before about Euro. It'd be interesting to see what happens when he gets back, because I think Euro has qualities that De Ligt and Lisandro doesn't in terms of recovery pace and defending space, as well. So, I think give us your. Oh shit! Just fucking need the table. Oh my god! Sorry, 1 second. The camera. Oh god. Yeah, sorry. Look at that. That's a bad face that as well for it to thing, isn't it? 1 second.
So happens when you hit the knee.
There we go. Yeah, what was I saying? So give us your predicted lineup then, Adam, before we head off.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Onana. I think Dalot, De Ligt, Leach. I think Mazraoui again. He'll play like that. Are you gone again? Are you?
No, yeah. What's going on here? 1 second. Right, I'm here. I think. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, go on.
Yes, Onana, Dalot, De Ligt, Leach, Mazraoui. Then in midfield, I can. It's a weird one. I think the fact that he rested, I suppose, Casemiro during the week. I think Casemiro might, play. I don't think Ugarte will play, so I think it'll be Menu.
Oh, you don't think Ugarte will start?
No, I think Menu will play, and Bruno. And then up front, Ahmed.
Højlund. I don't think Højlund will be available, so it'll probably be Xerxes.
I was thinking Xerxes, but I was also thinking Rashford down the middle after the game during the week, because I think both of them, given what they've done during the week, you play them when they're in form. So I'm going to go Rashford and Garnacho.
Interesting. Okay, that's a good shout. Of course, we will have the preview tonight. I think I don't know if Sam's on it, but if not, I'll be doing the preview anyway at 7:00. So please do make sure you come and join us for that, because I want to get your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in terms of score predictions, quick fire questions, all that lovely stuff. Always nice to have you on, Adam. I mean, I don't know what one great person once said. The chemistry's unmatched. So yeah,
I didn't derail it this time.
Yeah, well, there's still plenty. We've got a minute for you to do it. To be fair, we started singing it at the start of it, and we was talking about nonsense. So sometimes we just have to filter that out, and then we can do the rest of the show. That's what we're here for.
Exactly. Yeah, get it out of the way at the start.
Hopefully see you again at some point. Thank you everyone in the chat. Do you have any final words for the lads, Adam, before we go?
What would it be? Just don't fucking embarrass yourselves like you did last time. That really be it. And then just try and get the 3 points. As much as it is, the season kind of started after that Liverpool result.
Yeah, agreed.
So, kick it on from there.
Sean saying a great person once said a dominatrix in the box. The people are never going to let that go with Shreyas, honestly. Every time he hears that word. Do you know the story? Have we told you about it?
Yeah, you're telling me, I think it was last week or was it the week before?
Yeah, and he was like, we need a dominatrix in the box. Me, Chivy, and Sam all went. Like, you can see the clip. We were like, well, I don't think you're using that in the right context, mate. And he was like, no, I am. I was like, I don't think you are. Unless you want to see Maguire in a latex suit or something, then yeah.
That's up there with Nip It in the Butt.
Nip It in the Butt, classic as well. Completely forgot about that. I mean, it's been a few. You could go through. I think what I might do is when we hit 10K on here, I might go through. It might take a while, but all them kind of little bits and piecing together and just have it as like a finalized video. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Some great moments.
It's some, yeah,
especially DC in the back.
Yeah, Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Love it. Right, we're going to leave it at that, guys. 45 minutes on the clock. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you come and join us later on. Check us out on socials. We've got some news stories popping off over on there on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well. So, yeah, apart from that, take it easy. Thank you to Adam. We'll see you